If you ever come back home from a movie theater after sitting in the same position, absorbing an experience for 1, 2, maybe 3 hours, and now that it's over, the whole world seems so quiet. You try to go about your normal day, but you just can't get that film out of your head. And as you continue to question everything you've ever known, you break off all relationships in your life to sit rocking back and forth in the corner, begging the thoughts reverberating around in your skull to go away, but your mind has already begun to fracture under the infinite weight of the multiverse coursing through your... Because that's exactly what happened to me when I watched Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. One hell of a title, I know, but this is one hell of a movie. Also, I was gonna put a googly eye on my forehead for this video, but, Everything, Everywhere, All at Once is exactly my kind of movie. It's got a completely batshit insane jumping off concept, a series of absolutely wild events, jokes and references to keep me laughing, and just a few epic kung fu action sequences just to, like, you know, sweeten the taste a little bit, all of which serve not only to entertain, but also to deliver just a really good, hard-hitting message. Same reason that I love stuff like Into the Spider-Verse and Gravity Falls and the Lego Movie, except this one's rated R, which, by the way, it didn't really need to be. Just maybe modify that scene where that girl beats up a security guard with 2 dildos and maybe your movie would be opened up to a wider audience. I don't know, just saying. So I wanted to go into this movie as blind as a bat. Actually, that's a myth. Bats aren't blind, but just shut up. Besides the point, as soon as I heard that this movie had become the highest rated film on Letterboxd of all time, I immediately unplugged my internet, packed up all my bags, and moved into a cave because there was no way I was getting even a sliver of a spoiler. La 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 la. I'm very serious about spoilers, by the way, so don't ever bring up a popular movie in front of me if you don't think I've seen it. And as such, I will be giving little to no details about the actual story in this video because if you haven't seen this movie, it's actually a crime not to have seen this movie. I just wrote that law. It's actually being passed in Congress right now as I speak, and it should take immediate action soon. So, for your own safety, I suggest you watch the movie. So just to give you an idea of this movie's vibe, just imagine, if you will, an amalgamation of the writing and pacing of Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, the mindfuckery of Inception, and the nonsensical randomness of The Amazing World of Gumball. Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. That's still way too long of a title, I think.
Mouthful.
This movie is so inventive. I don't think I'll ever get tired of any plot involving the multiverse, and I didn't have a very high bar going in for having my mind blown. But did they ever sweep the rug out from under me with how creative they got? I'm gonna tell you what the main gimmick of this movie is, and it was really fun to discover it by myself watching the movie, so if you don't want to hear it, now's your chance to click off. So basically, the main character, Michelle Yeoh, discovers the ability to verse jump. That just means she can transmit her consciousness to another version of herself in another universe. And she can also steal an ability from that version of herself in another universe so that she can use it in this universe. And that's not even the crazy part. In the movie, they say that verse jumping is fueled by random events. And what that essentially means is, in order to verse jump, they have to do something stupid. And as you can imagine, this leads to some funny and wacky hijinks.
From the very beginning of writing this movie, we had this idea that in order to get powers from another universe, you'd have to do something really weird. And so this is the first scene where we get to see someone do something as strange as eat your own chapstick.
When I learned that bit of information in the movie, I immediately knew it was going to be awesome. And wow, dude, everything that happens in this movie is bonkers. Rhyme and reason is thrown out the window. There's interdimensional tomfoolery. Like I said, there was a scene where a girl beats a guy with dildos. Yep, and a lot more. There's a lot more. It is a riot. Everything that happens in this movie is crazy, and I don't want to spoil any more of it. So let's move on to the action sequences. Holy shit. The action in this movie is... say it with me. Epic! I love the fight scenes in this movie with every fiber of my being. They're some of the best I've ever seen. Not even kidding. Like, everything I love is in this movie, but the action especially. Like, wow. Everything is, like, shot and choreographed so smoothly. It's edited so well. It's so just... ah! And not only that, but it just gets so creative with what an action sequence can be. You know, because of the whole multiverse... skill stealing thing. Just watch this clip. Michelle Yeoh jumps to reality where she spins a sign by the side of the road, and then she uses that ability to kick everyone's ass with this shield. I'm getting tingles just thinking about it. It's just so smooth. One more time. The score also does a lot for sequences like this. The score is not something that I usually feel like bringing up, and it's only really worth talking about if it like stands out as a part of the movie that's really good. This movie's score, you know, it has that nice ambient nature at some points, fast-paced energy at other points, but at no point does it go down like a traditional route. There's some really quirky sounds in there, it's mixed really well, the visuals correspond nicely with the beats. It's just a really satisfying sensory experience. Okay, what else? Because the movie is constantly shifting between universes, even like mid-conversation, there are scenes where, like, we're in the middle of a scene and it keeps shifting between timelines. It is very easy to make that extremely confusing, but this movie does a really good job of handling the transitions. Yeah, the transitions can be a little jarring, but they're also seamless. If that makes any sense. This is like peak filmmaking. Just that scene towards the beginning where Michelle Yeoh first learns to verse jump is so well done. I could just watch that scene, like that exposition scene essentially, by itself, on repeat, forever, and I'd be totally happy. The humor is, well, I mean, I wouldn't classify this as a comedy, but it's so absurd that I don't think there's any way that you could make it through this entire movie without, like, bursting into laughter, like, at least once. What makes this movie especially funny, I think, is that everything is played off with 100% seriousness. As in, it's got the tone and, like, the look of a traditional action movie, but the things they're showing are just so ridiculous. It's just so funny. It's almost like a parody. That's probably what they were going for, like a parody of the action genre, but it's honestly hard to tell.
What happened? I think they lost their powers.
There are actual jokes, of course. It's not just haha XD random the whole time. But I still wouldn't classify this movie as a comedy. I honestly have no idea what I would classify this movie as.
One way we described this movie early on was that it's a family drama that gets interrupted by a sci-fi film that gets sidetracked by a romance, and in the end, it's really just about a family trying to find each other and reach out to each other in the noise of modern life.
I think this movie actually warrants the creation of an entirely new genre called insane. The acting is on point. Love that Michelle Yeoh finally has a starring role in a Hollywood film. Just love the Asian representation in general. But anyway, Michelle Yeoh brings an extra layer of entertainment value to this movie because, you know, she's a Chinese immigrant mom, and if any of you have met a Chinese immigrant mom, this would not be their kind of movie. Plus the fact that she doesn't speak English very well leads to some very funny stuff.
I'm here because we need your help.
Very busy today, no time to help you.
The presentation is awesome. I don't know how they did some of this stuff, like the going backward really fast effect, or this glass shattering effect between universes effect.
Mouthful.
I guess I don't know enough about graphics in movies. I've never created a custom graphic. I always just use the default graphics that are on my editing software.
It's like this shot of New York was just me going through New York. The camera had like shutter angle and shutter speed settings, so I just made it super blurry.
She had to act, I think, in slow motion. We tried different tempos.
But it just looks so good! The exposition, especially considering the scope of this movie's premise, is really good. Like, I've watched Nolan films, Tenet, Inception, Interstellar, and it always either feels too unnatural or they do it too fast. But at no point in this movie does anything feel over-explained or forced or contrived. It's just really good. I don't think anyone would have a hard time understanding how this movie works, even though it's so quick, it's so fast. It's just really important to know how to do exposition fast and naturally. The pacing is immaculate, and somehow, even though this movie's over 2 hours long, the shtick never gets old, and it definitely did not feel like 2 hours. And overall, I just have to give the hugest kudos, like the biggest kudos you could ever imagine, to the Daniels for the sheer brilliance that this movie is. Just the sheer brilliance that it would have required to conceptualize this and then make it. How do you just wake up one day and be like, oh, hey, remember that thing that we thought of together? Let's just make that into a movie. Like, that's what happened. They woke up one day and like, we have this idea, we're gonna make it into a movie. Obviously, there's a little more planning than that, but you get what I'm saying. This is why I love movies. This movie is why I love movies. You can do anything, like actually anything. The only thing you need is the idea. And the only thing stopping you is the idea. You just need the idea, and anything you can do. I mean, I guess you need like special effects and good cameras and a lot of actors. So I probably couldn't make that movie. Again, you know what I'm saying. Everything is possible. You can just make your idea a reality. You can just, like, you can have a dream one night and be like, I want to watch that dream. So you just make it into a real thing, and it's real. Again, assuming you have the money, you can do it. And I haven't even said anything about the message and the themes of this movie yet. Because like I said, this crazy entertaining package is just a vehicle for some genuine family conflict. This just so happens to be the second movie in a row that I have reviewed on this channel that has been about the struggle between a Chinese mother and a Chinese daughter. I'll leave the nuances for you to pick up on when you watch the movie, because you will. But the crazy multiversal secondary conflict goes so well hand in hand with the mother-daughter primary conflict. I honestly don't know how. The tone is all over the place. I haven't watched that many movies, so what I'm about to say is going to sound super pretentious, but I found that tonal whiplash is a tool that can completely ruin a story if you don't know how to use it. And a lot of people don't know how to use it, but these motherfuckers know how to use it. And when you do know how to use it, you create an infinitely memorable masterpiece. But like I said, again, this is just so my kind of movie. Actually, dramatic dramas are not my speed. I prefer these goofy dramas, is probably what I'd call them. Actually, that's a good name for this genre also, goofy drama. Now, my one complaint, my one little nugget of criticism, my one tiny thing that I didn't love was Joy. Her acting was a little cringe. Not the Joy we see in the beginning, the Joy we see towards the middle. You'll know what I mean if you've seen the movie. There's more I want to say about that, but I think I'll save it. That would get into real spoilers a little bit. So I think I might have to watch this movie again, or at least watch one of those ending explained videos, because wow, did this movie make me feel like I just moved houses. Because there was so much to unpack. I'm gonna delete this channel. Like, I understood basically what was happening, but everything in this movie works so well everywhere with every other element all at once. And I don't think anyone could pick up on all of it the first time. Oh, my mom actually had a conspiracy theory about this movie, that the first two parts all happened in Michelle Yeoh's head as a metaphor. Which, now that I think about it, actually seems kind of plausible. But hey, that's just a theory. Everything, Everywhere, All at Once is without a doubt the coolest film I have ever seen. I can say that with confidence. And I am giving it a perfect 10 out of 10. This is just a movie that gives you so much to enjoy on the first watch and so much to look forward to on the second watch. I just really felt like I was on a journey with Evelyn because of how well we as the audience were eased into the craziness, the reality anchor that Michelle Yeoh serves. The action is just so epic, and that masterfully crafted climax, and I could just go on and on and on, but I really need to get to the last subject of this video. So for that, I'm gonna hand it over to Alpha Jonah here. Now you're already familiar with verse jumping, which is a fast way to harness skills from other versions of yourself, but doing so puts you at a high risk of multiversal overload. But what if I were to tell you that there was a better and more sustainable way to develop new and useful skills? Our top researchers have contacted experts from all over the multiverse and asked them to contribute to this easy-to-navigate, public-use platform that we call Skillshare. Just enter anything you want to learn. How to talk to a camera, how to program in C#, how to develop better and more adaptive business planning skills, or even something as specific as art. And the best part is you don't even have to eat chapstick or squeeze hand sanitizer into your eyes. As long as you're curious, Skillshare can open the gateway for you into an expert's mind. I personally have been in the process of writing my own song, and while Charlie Puth's masterclass was pretty cool, I needed some extra inspiration. See, I wasn't looking so much for advice on the technical aspects of how to use Pro Tools so much as I was looking for tips on using the concepts of music themselves. Luckily, I found a great course with Janice DeWolf that delved deep into exactly that. So no matter which universe you're watching this transmission from, fuel your creativity and help us protect the multiverse by joining Skillshare today. Now, we've also developed an experimental hyperlink that should allow the first 1,000 people who click it and join Skillshare access to 1 month free of endless information. Be sure to follow the instructions in the description exactly, and don't ask me about this later because I won't remember. Good luck. Hey new friends, and thanks for watching another unironic video. School's finally out and I can start making big projects again. I have a lot planned for this summer. As I foreshadowed in the ad read, I am making a song and I will upload that, possibly with a music video. I'm going to rank every movie of 2021, and of course, I am finally gonna make that My Little Pony New Generation review / analysis / just me talking about it video. Once again, if you are one of the first 1,000 people to click the first link in the description to join Skillshare, you will get 1 month free. That is 30 days of you making your brain as big as possible, and you don't even have to pay for it. So just do it. I'm so grateful to have this opportunity for sponsorship. Doing that would help me a lot. And subscribe, or else I will first jump into a universe where I know Kung Fu and I'll beat your ass.